And before that, we had Patrick Dennis playing live. Great stuff, supported by Steve Clark as well, on the Adobro, which I had to ask what it was. Oh, great stuff. I've got to say, I loved what you guys did there.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I'm a big fan of live music, a big fan of acoustic music as well.
Well, I'm a big fan of local music, support for local music, and obviously acoustic music and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I have been known to pick up the electric guitar from time to time in anger. But I mean, I think it's a real shame that, especially in a town such as Edinburgh, which is a university town and a capital city, that the music scene here seems to be so disjointed, and musicians are going to get a really raw deal here, and a local talent isn't supported in any sort of way, shape, or form that I can see. And some of the venues are just paying. I know that there's budgets to be held to and all that, but you know, there's a difference between taking the mickey and, you know, paying somebody the going rate, you know, and a lot of places are taking the mickey, I think. You know,
we were talking off air there, and I was also talking earlier on with Ian Pettigrew about a similar thing. You know, it is difficult times for a musician, but my remit on the station is to bring in as much local talent and promote as possible, and to let the public know that live music is still alive and kicking. There's still a big market for it.
Well, it's the treasure that's right there in front of you. Yeah. It's like, otherwise, if you don't support that, then you're going to end up with Simon Cowell and X Factor, and you know, and that's just, for want of a better word, CR**P.
Yeah, it's rubbish.
Yeah, it is rubbish.
I don't watch any of these programs. I used to watch them, but I've stopped watching them just because it's not a way to bring talent forward. I think it was. Who was it? It was Rod Stewart who actually said it in an interview. He says, "Do you know?" He says, "In the old days, to become famous, you had to join a band, you had to practice, you had to go out and gig, and you had to get noticed, and then get onto TV and radio."
Aye.
Nowadays, it's the total opposite way. You actually go onto TV, and then you can establish then the record companies and the executives decide who they want.
Well, it just seems to be this whole sort of thing with record companies that not nurturing talent. I mean, whatever happened to A&R guys? I mean, gigs and all this sort of thing, you know. I mean, you don't really hear of it anymore. It's like, you know, when I lived in London, and I used to work for bands as a technician and whatnot, you used to have, you had to climb over them to get to the bar if you wanted a beer, you know. It's like, and now you don't see them anywhere or hear of them anywhere.
There's the odd one or two that go about, but I think a lot of the what's done now, you know, if you ask about A&R guys going out to gigs, most of the A&R people from record companies are now saying, you know, unless you've got a following of 30,000 people on your social media, you know, unless you've got that, then they're not even particularly interested. So it's all about numbers.
Yeah,
you know, it's not about talent.
But you know, you've got to try. I think there's a bit of give and take there. You know, it's like I remember a time when record companies used to scout a talent, used to nurture a talent, and then actively go out and spend money to get that talent promoted.
Yeah.
And you know, and they just keep spending it until they realize, you know, listen, we're flogging a dead horse here, or they'd get a return on it, and they'd stick with that artist. There aren't very many artists that are, you know, that you say right now that come out now that you're going to still be listening to their records 30 years from now, 40 years from now.
Yep.
You know, it's like, whereas you look at people like Bruce Springsteen, the Rolling Stones, the Beatles, Bob Dylan, numerous people, Neil Young, they're still putting out records, and they're still selling a fair old few records, and people are still listening to them, and they're also listening to stuff they put out 30, 40, 50 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I've said this many times on my show, and also when I'm out doing live. I mean, the Beatles have just celebrated 50 years of releasing Love Me Do, you know, their first #1, and I do a lot of Beatles stuff when I'm out gigging, and it's amazing the younger people who are singing along, they all know the words. You know, they all know these songs, so it's timeless music that's...
well, I mean, it's an investment in the future. I mean, like, you know, One Direction, where are they going to be in 5 years' time? You know, it's like, you know, unless they do something that really knocks my socks off, I can't see myself going around looking for them in 10, 15 years. I remember them when they're in 2012 or whatever, you know?
Yeah. So
I'll still be looking for old, obscure Bruce Springsteen bootlegs or whatnot, you know? So
I'll tell you, I'm going to remember 2012 for two things.
What's that?
One is for the Olympics, because it was a big event, and the other one is that Steps reformed and went on tour.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to remember.
Yeah, well, me and Stephen were talking about doing a Steps tribute band the other day, but we couldn't decide which one was going to be H and which one was going to be the blonde girl. Stevie's got the hair. Mine's kind of a bit shorter. So
moving swiftly on, we're going to get you to play another live track, and we're going to play one from your CD shortly as well. But we're going to get you to play something live. What are you going to do for us now?
We're going to do another song off the CD. It's called Before My Train Gets Lost. And play that with Plectrum, yeah. And it's kind of about love and trains, really. That's really kind of all there really is to it. And
just before you play it, I'd normally ask the songwriters, where does inspiration come from for a song? Do you just...
Sometimes it'll just be something somebody says. I mean, the song Black Rain, there's a line in there, what serves you well serves you right. And somebody actually said that to me in a pub one night. I overheard it, somebody saying, well, that's a really good line. And I was like, so I just kind of nicked it. Don't know who said it, but some earwigging on somebody else's conversation while I was waiting to get a beer or something. But no, it comes from anywhere. Sometimes it'll just be a set of words, and I'll just say, right, okay, I can write. Or sometimes it'll be another song, and I'll even sort of in a moment of arrogance say, that's a good song, but I think I can do better than that. And I'll write something in a similar vein, but trying to avoid pastiche, if you will. But no, it just comes from anywhere. I mean, my influences are like people like. I'm a huge Woody Guthrie fan, and also a huge Hank Williams fan, but also sort of people like Bruce Springsteen, especially Nebraska era, and his last album, Wrecking Ball, is just a fantastic piece of work, and other people like Bob Dylan to a lesser extent. Steve Earle's a big influence.
Or God, as he was described earlier on.
Yeah, or God, as certain people in this room might call him. And also other people like, things like certain movies, like The Grapes of Wrath is a really big influence on my writing, and the way the story that tells and all that, Films, it just depends.
So just anything
can come from anywhere as long as it's relevant,
Yeah.
I can't write gibberish. I can write a pop tune if I probably put my head to it, but it's not really. I'm not really a big one on the "I love you, baby" sort of stakes.
I'm fluent in gibberish, so I could probably get away with that. Here we go. This is Patrick Dennis live, supported by Steve.
1, 2, 3, 4. Well, love is like a train, it rolls on down your track, and it goes in one direction, and it don't come back. So if you need a ticket, I bear the cost. So check your signals, baby, before my train gets lost. Yes, saying I like traveling, my conductor, he don't mind. And my station master will show you cross my line. But my tracks are busy, baby, look always for your cross. And check your signals, baby, before my train gets lost. Well, Casey Jones coming, he's coming around again. Yeah, Casey Jones is coming with a guitar and a pen. Well, Casey Jones is coming, I won't be staying long. I reconsider, baby, before my train moves on. Please reconsider, baby, before my train moves on. Why don't you reconsider, baby, before my train moves on? How much for your soul? The devil said to me. I said, I don't know, make an offer if you please. He said $13 for your soul. Ain't anyone that you want to know. There once was this woman, offered me her charm. She said, for your love you can fall in these arms. When I turned away, let out a moan. No, I ain't anyone that you'd want to know. No, I ain't anyone that you'd want to know. So what the hell you coming around here asking me for? Spend my whole life riding this graveyard train, never asked for this poison running through my veins. Well, if you see me coming, let me walk on by. Don't start up a conversation or look me in the eye. Well, 13 is my number, purgatory is my home. And I ain't anyone that you want to know. No, I ain't anyone that you want to know.
There's never been a better time to visit Cooper and Darkey.